This process is for the Wisconsin Amusement Ride registration. So things to know before you get started, you're going to want to have the amusement ride manufacturer information, the amusement ride name, the serial number of the device, if yours has one. If it doesn't have a device, we'll cover what to do with the serial number during the registration. You'll want to have a copy of the certificate of insurance available and your payment method ready to go. Once you've registered the device through this process and fees have been paid, you'll need to ensure that you've submitted an itinerary, and then the administrative staff will review the amusement ride application, the registration application, and verify that the COI is acceptable, all fees have been paid, the itinerary has been submitted, and if those 3 items are sufficient, they will then mail you a registration plate that will stay with the device for its lifetime. It's a plate that needs to be by the device or attached to the device to show the public that it's been registered. Going forward, that plate, you'll just be issued a year sticker for an update for the registration year, similar to how a license plate's renewed in Wisconsin. So that plate that's mailed to you, the physical hard plate, stays with the device in its lifetime. If you were to sell the device, that plate would stay with it. So we'll get started on the registration process. So the first thing to do is go to esla.wi.gov, and that's DSPS's ESLA portal, and is where we will manage the device, register devices, pay for fees, and do renewals in the future. So to get started, most users under almost every circumstance, if it's their first time registering a device, are going to use the second option on the left-hand side here. We have the first time ESLA user, and we're going to register as a new DSPS customer, so second blue button. And once we get into the new application, this will be for you as an individual. So in ESLA, what we're creating here for the new Wisconsin account is what I'll refer to as a profile. And the profile is linked to the business, and the business account is where your permits and devices are stored at. This account, this profile that you're creating will stay with you forever. If you were to leave a business, it would just be, your profile would be deactivated from that business and it can be used in another business. You can also use the same profile to manage different devices at different businesses. So go ahead and fill this information out. When you get to the section about an active credential, most people in a situation for an amusement ride typically do not have an active credential. You can use the option of no, I do not have an active credential, and it'll only require the last 4 of your social security number. Once that's completed and your profile, all these have turned to green check marks for the password check and your username check, you can hit submit. If you're given an error when you hit submit that the profile or the email already exists in the system, that would mean that you already have an ESLA profile under the email address that you're attempting to sign up with. If that's the case, reach out to one of the inspectors in the area, in our areas, and we can work with you to reset that password or get you logged into that account. And I will have a screenshot of the amusement ride inspectors at the end of this video. Once your profile has been created, you will be brought to a dashboard that looks similar to this, and it will say, welcome to your ESLA dashboard. From here, with this being a new account, we'll need to add a business. So in order to do that, we'll go up to the top right-hand corner where our name is, and we're going to select the second option after we hover over our name in the top right corner, manage business/organization. If you have had a business before, if your business has done some sort of plan review or any type of work with DSPS, and you're very confident that has been done, you can search for that business. And how to do that is click in the first section here for add business/organization. And we're going to select that we're looking for a business, and we're going to obtain a security code. And when we obtain the security code, most people will use the email address on file. So go ahead and hit email. type the email address that you know or suspect the business is under and hit submit. If there is a business that returns, a security code will be emailed to you at that email address that you provided. And then go ahead and paste that security code into the box here and hit submit. That'll then link you to the existing business. If you're not sure or can't find a business located in here, go ahead and add a new business. It's the second selection under this Manage Business and Organization area. So we're going to go ahead and go to that section. And what we'll do here is we're going to fill out the business information. Once that's complete, we now would be brought to the Managed Business Organization page, and we can see that the AR business that we just created is now linked to our profile here. We have it in our listing of our businesses. So from here, as I stated, the permits are registered under the business. So from here, we're going to go submit a permit. We're going to submit an amusement ride PTO. So we're going to go back to the dashboard. At any time that we need to return to the dashboard, we can do so by clicking the dashboard link up here at the top in the navigation, the second option, dashboard, and that'll bring us back to our welcome text. From here, we're going to select new application. And on the next page of the application selection, we'll choose the option of permits for the first dropdown. The second dropdown, select program area, will be amusement rides PTO. So this amusement rides PTO is used for any device that does not need plan review. If your device needs plan review, it's a different process. This is only for amusement rides that do not need plan review. Rides that are bought specific or rides that are traveling. A device that might need plan review may be something to specific location devices, like a roller coaster that's specific to an individual site, or a permanent ride that is being permanently installed at a location. So we'll select the program review amusement ride PTO. The third option, select permit type / plan review. One option for our choice there, amusement ride PTO. Select application type, just one option, permit to operate. And select an account. We have that AR business that we just created. If we did not have a business, we could add one from here using this link as well. We're going to select the AR business account and then hit save and continue. Now, this is the actual application for the amusement ride PTO. So the first information, the personal information at the top of the screen is filled out from our account. That should all be correct. We just entered that. I cannot edit it here. Know that if you try to edit something in here, they're grayed out. This pulls from the account. You'd have to actually edit your profile through the account by using the hovering over your name in the top right and selecting manage profile. So with that information is correct. We have to add a mailing address. This will be the location of where you'll want things mailed to. Typically, the only thing that we mail out is the amusement ride registration plates and the year stickers. So know that the mailing address will be used from the office to send those registration packets and stickers out to that address on file. So to add an address, the first thing that tends to get missed is we need to check a box up top here to use this as the mailing address. This is actually going to save it as our mailing address. If we don't check this, it will not save properly. So we'll go ahead and enter in an address in here. And then I'm going to hit save. It's real important to make sure to hit save here too, because this is saving just this information here that we entered for the mailing address. So we'll hit save. More than likely, you're going to be prompted with the validation for the address, and it did come up here. Choose whichever is correct. This probably isn't an accurate address because it didn't come back validated, but more than likely you're going to have two options. There'll be one listed above here that'll look similar to the address that I entered just now. Choose whichever is correct. Sometimes the validation is not correct in county roads or state highways. So if that's the case, choose which one's correct. And you do that just by clicking on the hyperlink for the address. In this situation, I just have one. If I had a second one, I'd be able to select it up top here in this blank area. But I'll go ahead and click on the 111 Main Street. And we should be prompted with text that says address saved successfully, and that's what we're looking for. Excellent, there it is. And now as we see the address, now that it is on the account, has also saved to the public address. If this was different, I could add a second address, and the public address is where the device that you're registering is physically located at. If that is if that's a traveling event, a lot of times, or a traveling show, a lot of times it's just the same as the mailing address. It's up to you in that situation if you decide to use a mailing or a physical address of where devices are stored. But if you have a physical device that is only at one location and does not travel, the public address must be the location of where that device can be found. In this situation, I'm just going to use this as the public address that I entered in as well. If I needed to, I could delete this address with the garbage can over here to the right, or I could add another address if I needed. If you add an address, make sure to select the use address as public at the top like we did for the mailing address. If not, it's a simple click on the left-hand side in the public column, and that will save the address as public. And again, we have the address saved successfully. And if I needed to, I could use a different address for either one of these if I needed to go back and edit it. With that, I'm going to hit save and continue. Now we're brought to the affiliate information. So the affiliate information provides us with either the information for the owner, the installer, or designer. For most people, when you're coming into this the first time, there will not be an email assigned or associated with a affiliate information. So we're going to have to create a new one. I'm going to do that by clicking this checkbox to create an affiliation without searching by email. If you've done this before, and you've submitted new rides with us, or even a new just plan review, you can search the email address there. But for this situation, we're going to act as it's a new person and has never submitted anything. So we're going to check the box to get to this affiliation information. So the type of affiliate, in this situation, we're going to use owner, select the one that would be appropriate for what you're completing. And we're just going to add in our name. And hit save. And we have the affiliate information in here. We can see it grayed in here at the top. We could edit it if we needed to by using the pencil icon, or delete it, or we could add another one if needed. Next, we're going to add the project, and under project and site information, we're going to add a site. If this were a traveling ride specific for traveling, you could search for a site ID called DSPS portable. I believe it's portable amusement ride. I don't see it in here. There'll be in the registration packet for the step-by-step guide, the specific site ID to enter in for this information will be in there. But since this example that we're going to use is a permanent location, we need to create a new site. We have to physically tell the application where the device is located. So the project and site name, I'll just say, I'll make one up here. And then you'll need to know the municipality type. So for in this situation, Madison is a city. We're going to check city, and then it will pre-populate any of the municipalities that match that criteria. So here we'll select Madison and we'll save. So know for the municipality type that if you're in a township, you may have a mailing address of a neighboring city or a village, but make sure to select the appropriate location if you're in a township, and know where the site physically is at. And once that's completed, we'll hit save and continue. And now we're brought to the questions. This is going to be specific for the ride that we're registering. These were some of the items that were talked about at the beginning to make sure that we have the information as needed. So what is the name of the ride? We're going to do test AR for amusement ride, the manufacturer, and class. So when completing class, you can select if you have an inflatable or a coin op, but the classifications through our administrative code for registrations are either class 1 or class 2. A class 1 is going to be a ride that moves you in a mild manner. So this could be an inflatable, a kid's ride, a smaller type of ride. A class 2 device will be a larger ride, like a full-size roller coaster or drop tower, something that moves you in a thrilling manner. And if you're not sure on the class does not influence the fee amount for the registration. All registrations are $55 regardless of class, and that's something that the inspectors will change in the back end of the system once they see the device. And again, if you're not sure, you could reach out to the inspector in your area as well. So in this situation, we're going to use a class 1. The ride location type, is it fixed or is it portable? In this situation, we're going to say it's fixed. Is the ride original or modified? It's original. A modified ride would be a device that has been changed or altered. In an example, maybe it was a ride that at one time was on a trailer and was made to be portable, but has now been modified to be at a fixed site location and permanently mounted somewhere. That would be a modified ride. All modified rides have to undergo engineering and plan approval for site-specific rides that are in those locations. And any modified ride, say it was a traveling ride and it's been modified, it still needs to undergo plan review because it's been modified from the original design specs. The ride serial number, there are some manufacturers that do not provide amusement ride serial numbers. If this is the case for you, you could put NA, I don't have one, something in that field, and we'll assign amusement ride ID in the back office for our records, and then I'll let you know what that is once we have that created. That just helps us track the ride in our system. For here, I will say NA that I don't have one. If you did have one, obviously make sure to enter that information in there. Do you have open orders from previous years? This is the first time submitting the ride for here, and it's a new device, so this would be no. And does your ride require non-destructive testing? Non-destructive testing typically happens in larger rides when they're looking at structural strength of metal or ensuring that something hasn't cracked. Usually they're on critical components on more class 2 rides. Definitely could be possible that there could be something on a class 1 ride, like a kid's roller coaster, that may need to be non-destructive testing. If you're unsure of the non-destructive testing question, please reach out to somebody so we can discuss it with you. We also have lists of rides and bulletins that require non-destructive testing, so we can get you guided in the right direction if you're unsure of the non-destructive testing requirement. In this situation, it's class 1. We're going to say it does not need non-destructive testing. If you were to answer either one of these, yes. If, let's say, this ride is no longer in the system and you did have an order from 2 years prior and you're now registering it again, which is not a situation that typically would happen, but let's say it were to happen, and you were to select yes on this and yes on non-destructive testing, it will, on the next section for attachments, will ask you to upload information for that. If we answer yes on the non-destructive test, or sorry, on the open orders and yes on non-destructive testing, we'll put this information through just to show an example. And I actually believe it's not going to ask about NDT, the non-destructive testing. It's just going to ask about the open orders. Oh, it did. So here, if we had an open order, this first section here, affidavit of compliance, is going to have us. There's a link here to a form to fill out that will need to be attached to satisfy the registration requirements. Non-destructive testing, any information that would pertain to that would need to be uploaded. And then the other document that's required now is a certificate of liability insurance. I'm going to go back one page so that I can remove the affidavit of compliance and non-destructive testing information. So I'm going to go back to questions. You can navigate between these different locations on the application at any time just by clicking on the arrows at the top here. So I just went back and clicked on questions, brought me back here. I'm going to say no, and now save and continue. And now those two questions are gone. The next step is to upload a certificate of liability insurance. I'm going to click add attachment. And you can find any document that you want in here to be listed. Anything, it doesn't have to be labeled COI. It can be whatever the COI is. So in this, I just grabbed a random PDF here. I'm going to hit save and continue. At the end of this presentation, we'll also show a sample of a certificate of insurance and what the requirements are. And that is also included in the registration guide packet, that the step-by-step guide packet, and you can reach out to your local inspector to obtain either one of those. So here we get to the application review. If there were an issue with the application itself, it would be listed on one of these arrows up here with an exclamation point of what's not completed. And it would also list it here in the application review. In this situation, it's been completed. We've filled out everything that's needed. If it were an issue, it would list here what the problem was and require us to go back and correct it. So for here, the application has been completed. I can go ahead and hit I accept. This is our digital signature process, and basically accepting that the information that I provided was true and accurate. And then it's going to have us enter our name as it appears on our account. So here we're going to enter the name as we see it down below. And we'll go ahead and hit submit. Once we've submitted it, it's going to bring us to our cart. That's the location it takes us to. So here's our cart. If we had another ride that we needed to submit, we go back up here to the dashboard link to return to the dashboard, and we'd start that process all over again. In this situation, I'm going to assume that this is the only device that I'm going to be submitting. If you leave this or get out of here, I'm going to go back to the dashboard. You can always return to the cart. Up here at the top, there's a cart icon, and it has a 1 in it right now. I can always click on that to come back into the cart. And then from here, it's going to ask us to select the fees. I would always just pay all fees. You may have other fees in here once an inspection is done. Inspection fees are paid through here as well. From here, we will select all fees. It's kind of a double click. You have to select all fees in the drop down, and then select. You can either select them individually, or if I had more in here, I could select individual fees or all of them. But here we'll just hit select all, and total due $55 for the registration. Click continue. It's going to warn us that we're going to be going to the payment gateway, we'll continue. I won't be able to take you through the payment process. If you've done any business with the state in the past, we use the same checkout portal for all areas. If you've renewed your license plates online with the DOT before, it's the same process. Fill out the contact information for the payment, select your payment method down below. There is no fee for a check or a savings account when using the bank and routing number. There is a 3% convenience fee for a credit card or debit card that is charged by the processor. That fee is not refundable, the 3%, if something happens. So just know that when you're going through. And once you completed your payment information, it'll bring you back to the dashboard. And your payment, once your payment has been submitted, credit cards typically take about 12 hours to process, checks about 3 business days. And once the payment's cleared, then it goes to a queue for somebody in our office to process. And typically it takes a couple weeks for them to process the registrations. If they have any questions, they'll reach out to you directly, whether it be related to a COI or something that's missing. The Madison office will reach out to you directly. This status of generate fee, once paid, will flip to submitted, and it'll stay in a submitted status. So know that when you're coming to check back at the dashboard, if it's still in generate fee, that means there's an issue that happened with the payment. If it's submitted, that means the Madison office has it, and they're waiting through the queue to get it processed. The other thing that we talked about is one of the requirements for registration was an itinerary. So we'll go into the itinerary section real quick. The itinerary is real simple to fill out. You can get to it by clicking the second button, My Itineraries. And in here, basically what the itinerary is to let us, DSPS, know where amusement rides will be at. So we'll select the business name, and the information that we're looking for is the setup date. So when you would be setting up for a permanent location. Let's say it's an indoor location. This may be the middle of the winter. It could be any date that you choose for when you're actually set up. And then the start date, we'll say that we're setting up on April 1st, and we'll say that our start date is the 6th, that's Saturday. And then the end date, we'll say that we operate through the end of October. So the event location name, this would be, if you're at a fair, this would be the fair name. If you're a permanent location, this would be the amusement park that you're located at. Any name or common name that's used in there for your business or location. Number of rides, this would be however many you will have at that location. The situation, we only have 1 ride. If you had 15 rides that were going there, you'd put in 15 and so on. And then the location / event address. I'm just going to use the, assuming that mine is a permanent location, I'm going to use my 111 Main Street in Madison. And then the event and location county would be Dane. And we'll add this. And you would add in as many itinerary locations as you had. So in a permanent location, typically you have 1 for the year. If you are a traveling operator, you may have 40 in a year. Any location that's open to the public needs to have an itinerary completed for it. If you are a bounce house owner and operator that rents bounce houses for private backyard parties, we do not need to know about the backyard party itself if it's private and located in somebody's physical or private residence. However, if you rent out your inflatable, say, to a group that's doing an event at a park, we would need to know about that. As well as we would need to know that your business rents out inflatables during the year. So you would have to fill out I'll call it a permanent location as well for your business to say that, XYZ inflatable companies rents bounce houses, out of Madison from July 1st until June 30th, or sorry, until October 31st every year. We would need to know that ahead of time. So those are the situations for itineraries. If you're not sure about itineraries, reach out to your area's inspector and we can help get you guided in the right direction. With that, some helpful information would be locating and using our DSPS Amusement Ride program page. There's a lot of information contained on here. It can be found at dsps.wi.gov. And once you're at our main website, you'll go to Programs, A to Z List, and to Amusement Rides. From here, you can reach out to us through a general email box as well. That's listed here. This is checked by staff every day. You can get a pretty quick response out of there if you have a general question. Also, the information of how to notify us for an accident. Accidents do need to be reported to us. There is accident note reporting in Isla as well, but the fastest way to do it would be coming to our website and using the phone number listed here to call us. There's also an accident report form that can be located under the forms section here. And I'm just going to bring that open real quick. This can be downloaded and emailed to us, as well as I said, you can call and report it as well. But here it lists the requirements. Fatalities need to be reported within 24 hours, and accidents that go above and beyond basic first aid need to be notified to us within, I believe it is 2 business days. The best case scenario, notify us as soon as possible. It always helps us know if something has happened. But this is the general information that's needed. We'll ask for the date, the accident time, the name, your business name, phone number, what ride it happened on, the injured person's information, the type of injury it was, if the injured was one of your employees, a brief description, and then just who's completing the form and sending it to us. And as I said, those can be called in by finding the information on our website, right here under the report an accident. They can also be done through our ride in the system. And currently, I won't be able to show it, I don't believe, because it's still a pending ride, but actually I can. Click on the options menu of the device that was registered, and you can hit accident report. And this will bring in the same information that's on that form, just in a digital format, and you can submit it this way anytime that you would like to. Couple things to know. Rides do need to be registered prior to operation. And being registered means that everything's complete. So that means the itinerary has been completed, the fees have been paid, and it is a valid submitted amusement ride for us. So they have to be registered prior to operation. Whether that's the day before you operate, it could be the day of that you operate, or it could be months ahead of time. Amusement ride registrations run for a calendar year starting January 1st to December 31st. If you register your ride on December 30th, it will still expire on December 31st. It is only valid until the end of the year. Inspections are done by the inspectors in the area. The fees will be billed, and they will be billed, and you'll be notified through the Isla system, but they will also be in the same program. If you get an email that notifies you that there is a fee awaiting for payment in your cart, that's typically the language that's used on those. That would mean that there's an inspection fee in the cart, and you can get to that by logging to the dashboard and coming back up to the cart, clicking on it, and paying for that fee. If you have any questions with fees, reach out to the inspector that's in your area. They are the ones that would know more about what they contain. The cart doesn't provide a ton of information, but you can always reach out to one of us. One of the things that I talked about was the certificate of insurance. So this is a mock-up of a COI, certificate of liability insurance, that comes to us from your insurance carrier. So the things that are needed on here, and the quick highlight portions are the we need to know who's insured, so the name of your business and location. Our administrative code requires a minimum of $1 million in coverage per occurrence, so that's listed here. The policy dates must be valid. In this situation, somebody would be able to use this COI to register a device and submit a registration to us up until June 1st. That's when the policy expires. We have some people ask if they need to have one that covers the entire year. We don't. We need a valid COI at the time of registration. The hope is that with us being listed as a certificate holder, which is down here as another requirement, that we'll be notified and get updates on your insurance or be notified if the liability coverage is dropped. The code does require the insurance company to notify us if the insurance has been dropped. That's a requirement to our administrative code. The other things that we need is the ride name and serial number. This must come from the insurance company. We do not accept a list or an email from the owner. This is a verification to make sure that we know what's registered, the insurance company knows that it's registered, and that people, the public that are using it are insured if something were to happen to them. So it's a three-way check with it. So the ride number, ride name and serial number must be on there and must also match what's provided in our system. So whatever serial number is on the device needs to be listed on the COI as well as in our system. A lot of times a COI or on the COI and the registration, they don't match. And that's typically one of the contexts that the Madison office has quite frequently, is to make sure that the serial number information is correct. If you were to have more rides than fit in this description box down here, as I said, the insurance company can attach a ride list, but it has to come from the insurer. And then here's just a sample of a ride list has been submitted by people in the past. As long as we know that it's been registered and then is insured and the registration and the insurance match, that's valid. If you have questions on the certificate of insurance and insurance requirements, please reach out to somebody directly and we can get you paired up with somebody in the Madison office to answer specific questions. With that, if you have any issues, you can reach our Amusement Ride folks either through this general email address listed on the website, or if you look on the right-hand side, there's an inspection district map. And these are the inspectors and our general information, our supervisor, and then our contact information. If you do have specific ISLA questions or issues, reach out to your inspector in your district. They can sometimes work through those faster than contacting the general ISLA help information. So definitely come to one of us first. And with that, as I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at any time. We're here to assist you. Thank you.